How many paths could an octo walk if an octo could walk paths? That's a stupid question. It's basically nonsense. But we're going to talk about my impressions of Octopath Traveler 0, so let's get into it. Hey friends, it's Just the Gems, I'm Brandon, and thanks to a kind invitation from Square Enix, I was able to get my hands on Octopath Traveler 0 at PAX West this year for a nice and meaty hour-long demo. And you know what? I'm going to tell you about it. So Octopath Traveler is a series of HD 2D JRPGs about a bunch of characters dealing with their own personal stories and traumas while helping each other deal with theirs too. It's almost a descendant of a game like Live Alive, where you're dealing essentially with a bunch of JRPG short stories, and it's a really great format in my opinion. The first Octopath Traveler was an essential game for the early Switch, and Octopath Traveler 2 came along and did what Octopath Traveler did, but basically objectively better in almost every way. And yet, I wasn't as crazy about Octopath 2. Why? Well, I think I just wanted more to be shaken up. Sure, all the systems are there and they're all really good. The stories are interesting, the characters are great, but I wanted something a little more different. That appears to be what Octopath Traveler 0 is delivering. In Octopath Traveler 0, for the first time in the series, you won't be choosing from one of 8 main characters to start the game with. Instead, you'll be creating a character to serve as your silent avatar and leading them around the world recruiting allies. If you know my channel, you probably know I'm very staunchly anti-silent protags, but I always try and withhold judgment on a game for that until I've played it fully. After all, Chrono Trigger is still an all-time favorite of mine, and that has a silent protagonist too. So, yes, your silent protagonist has returned from a journey and has to rebuild the town of Wishvale. The first part of our demo was just a quick look at how the town building mechanic works. As someone who isn't always fond of town building and maintenance, I was initially worried that this wouldn't be my jam. But fortunately, it seems extremely user-friendly and quick. Choose the building you want to make, choose the spot, and boom, it's there. The various people who end up inhabiting the town can be assigned to different shops and whatnot, which then makes them usable for you. And speaking of people, one of your main goals while traveling around is to find and recruit people to come live in Wishvale. The main quest that I'm about to tell you about involves that as well. So yeah, the town building seems overall very straightforward. So even if you're like me and don't particularly care for that type of gameplay, it's not cumbersome or annoying, at least in the small segment I played. The rest of the demo was a significant quest. We want to recruit this merchant named Ludo to come and live and work in Wishvale. But he's a little bit of a rascal. He's not super receptive to the idea. He might consider it if we go out and kill these nasty lizard dudes that are robbing caravans. And this is a role-playing game, not a role sitting on our hands game. So we're here to play. So we head out for the cave. Along the way, we get to enjoy the sights and sounds that have helped make the Octopath series so freaking iconic. Yasunori Nishiki sounds like he's back at it again, and his music is just next level good. The graphics are as pretty as ever, and it's still really cool to go down into a cave with your torch out in this graphical style, even so many years after the first Octopath. It's around here that the updated battle system comes into play, and it's got those differences I was really hoping for in Octopath 2. Now, instead of a party of 4 characters, you have a party of 8. You still only deal with 4 of them at once, the 4 in the front, while the other 4 are in the back row. Up front, you can attack and use magic and skills just like before, and you can save up boost points to do multiple attacks together and shatter enemy weaknesses by using the right kind of weapons. It's tried, it's true, I'm glad the bones of that are still central to the gameplay. But the back row adds an entirely new element of strategy to the battles. See, characters in the back row will regenerate health and SP when they're not being used, but not only that, they also get boost points. You can swap a back row character with the person in front of them on that person's turn, unless that front person dies, in which case the back character pulls them out of harm's way and jumps up front automatically. But by letting characters rest in the back row, you can send them out to unload massively powerful attacks with all their saved up boost points. It makes the battles feel much swifter than they have in the past, and it's a great way to address that common criticism that battles in this series just seem to last much too long in general. There were essentially 2 main challenges in this dungeon. Kill the main boss, those lizard dudes, and also, if you had time, go kill this big nasty worm thing that's guarding a treasure chest. I went for the lizards first because I'm a rule follower and that's what Square Enix told me to do. It was a challenging fight, but not frustrating. And we were probably slightly over-leveled for it and had a ton of items. So the goal here wasn't to show us, hey, look how hard this game is. It was really just more to show us how the new gameplay systems interact with what we're already used to. When the lizard guys went down, I still had some time, so I went back and killed the worm too. And that was just pure swagger. I didn't get to keep whatever it was in that treasure chest. This is a demo at PAX. I just wanted to see if I could do it. You know what I mean? It helps, I guess, that in addition to all your regular spells and whatnot, the main character occasionally gets access to ultimate techniques that do a lot of good for you, let's say. But I choose to think it was my swagger that won the fight. Pure swag. There are some elements of the game that I didn't really get to play around with. Path actions are back, which is where you can interact with people out in the world in different ways depending on your character's job. Like, you can have people accompany you and fight for you, or you can steal from them or buy things from them, that sort of thing. I'm curious if there'll be new path actions this time around, since so many things seem to be getting bigger updates than Octopath 2 received. I know there are more than 30 characters you can recruit into your party in this game, which seems like too many? I don't know. At a certain point, you're just collecting trading cards when you have that many characters. You know what I mean? They're not really people at that point because it's not realistic for super compelling stories to be written for that many characters. My hope is that we'll still get at least 8 solid character stories like we've gotten before, and these extra characters are just gravy. The other thing to note is that this is both a prequel to Octopath Traveler and a reinterpretation of the mobile game Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent. To be clear, this is not a port of that mobile game. There are no common mobile game elements at play here from what I saw. This game just takes the story and some ideas from that game and makes a full console JRPG out of them. But the odd thing about this being a prequel is that characters from the first Octopath Traveler are in this game as party members. Like, I had my girl Tressa in my party, and I've seen footage with others. When I see that sort of thing with no explanation immediately given, my mind goes to something silly like, the characters are brought together through a rift in time to go on an adventure that, of course, they will all conveniently forget about when it's over. It just has real fan fiction-y vibes, if you know what I mean. But because I didn't see any evidence one way or another on how these characters actually fit into a prequel of their own game, I'll withhold judgment, but I will say it is a minor concern. Still, there's a whole lot to love here. This game is doing what I wanted Octopath Traveler 2 to do. It's taking the core foundation of the series, but giving us a lot that's new and novel. Based on the gameplay and the promises being made in the trailers, I really think this will be one to keep an eye on when it comes out on December 4th. Well, that's it for now. Let me know if you're looking forward to Octopath Traveler 0 down in the comments, or you can let me know other stuff too. I'm not the boss of you. If you like what I do here, would you consider liking and subscribing? Oh, and I have memberships available if you're able and willing to support me in the channel in that way. And thanks as always to my members. You guys are fundamentally and literally the best. Be sure to check out my podcast, the JRPG Pursuit. We've got new episodes every single Wednesday. Links in the description. Anyway, I think that's everything. So with that, until next time, bye.